Hi, guys. Before we get started on today's episode, I just wanted to jump on here. You will hear us discussing that our 100th episode is coming up. And actually, in this episode, we issue a little bit of a challenge that we are trying to do to reach a certain amount of new reviews before we get to the launching of our 100th episode. But this actually got us to thinking that it would be a lot of fun to turn this challenge into a giveaway. So you will be seeing on our Instagram and in the Facebook group, but we also wanted to tease it for you a little bit here. If you have ever written a review, or if you write a new review between now and Monday, April 7th, this is 2025 for anyone listening in the future, we will be choosing from all of the reviews that we have on Apple Podcasts. We will be reading some of them live on our 100th episode, which is a midweek mini. And the people whose reviews are chosen will get an amazing prize. So we want you to be listening for the 100th episode. We want you to be leaving us a review. A lot of times people don't put their names on those reviews. So if we do read your reviews, you will need to contact us to receive your prize. So make sure you're tuning in and make sure you've got eyes on our Instagram and Facebook for all of the details and to find out what the prize is. And now I will let you guys listen to the episode.
Ever pinch pennies all year for that one family vacation only to feel the budget blues afterwards? If so, I was just like you. After 3 vacationless years, I stumbled on credit card rewards travel and cracked the code to amazing vacations that I could actually afford.
Welcome to Wonderland on Points. In this podcast, you will discover how opening credit cards strategically can save you thousands on travel. We're not just dreamers anymore. We're 2 adventurous moms turning dreams into reality. Join us as we spill all the points and miles secrets.
And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to spend $1 million to earn 1,000,000 points. Traveling on credit card points isn't reserved for those with overflowing bank accounts. It's for everyday people like you and me, learning to turn routine expenses into free travel.
Consider us your points travel guides. This is Wonderland on Points. Let the adventure begin. Welcome back, everybody. We're so happy that you are here, that you have found us in this podcast world. Today, we're going to talk about American Airlines, and we've done a couple episodes about American Airlines, but today our guest, Kris, is bringing some fire tips that Joanna and fire tips we did not know, and we are just super excited for you to hear this episode.
Yeah, this is a great episode. Kris is a wealth of knowledge, and he truly did blow our minds with some stuff that we, in our year plus of doing this podcast, and even longer than that in the Points and Miles world, have never heard before. You guys, do you know how crazy it is to get to almost 100 episodes of a podcast and still be learning new things? It's very exciting. So we really want you guys to listen to this. We're not going to take up too much of your time here at the beginning, but I want to remind everybody to join us in the Facebook group. After you listen to this episode, hop in there, talk to us about American Airlines, tell us if any of these tips were new to you or blew your mind. And maybe if you're going to try to go for status this year, we want to hear it all over in the Facebook group. You can find the link in our show notes. And if you haven't yet, leaving a rating and review is an amazing, easy, free way to give back to the podcast. It helps us get in the ears of other families who want to learn how to travel and stretch their travel budgets and use points and miles. It is such a great way that you can help that algorithm learn who to share us with and to give other people your thoughts and feelings on what the podcast has done for you. So if you haven't done that yet, it's super easy. You just scroll down to the bottom on Apple Podcasts. You can click the 5 stars. And if you want to leave actual written words, we love those. They warm our hearts.
Speaking of being almost at 100 episodes, guys, we are getting so close and we cannot believe this. It is a major milestone for us and for the Wonderland On Points community. We're so excited. Do you think we could get 100 new reviews to celebrate our 100 episode milestone. I feel like we could. So guys,
Stop. I
help
love
us.
this.
I do too. Help us get to it, guys. Go on there, pause the podcast right now, hop on to wherever you're listening, and we want to try to get 100 new ratings or reviews to celebrate this upcoming 100th episode.
Oh my gosh, you guys, if you could do this for us, this would make my entire life. At the time of this recording on Apple Podcasts, we have 128 ratings. I am hoping that by the time our 100th episode comes out, we have 228 ratings. So if you guys are some of our loyal, lovely, amazing listeners and you have yet to leave a rating or a review, go do that for us. It would be so exciting if we could see that happen to mark this milestone of our 100th episode. And we will have some fun stuff coming in the next couple of weeks to celebrate. So just keep your eyeballs on the show and on the Facebook group.
Okay, guys, let's hear from Kris at the Frugal Tourist.
Here we go.
Today, guys, we are chatting with our friend Kris from the Frugal Tourist. You can find him on Instagram. It's _frugal_tourist. Kris, you have been doing this for a long time. We're so glad to have you here to dive into American Airlines. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your history with award travel.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I'm excited to chat about AA. A little bit about myself. When I first moved to the United States, I was in my mid-20s, and I was a foreign student, and that was my first opportunity to learn about credit cards. I needed to pay my tuition fees using credit cards because we didn't have a lot of money back then. And during that time, there were a lot of credit card balance transfer offers. So every time I would charge my tuition fee on a credit card, I would transfer it to another credit card with no entrance balance transfer offer. And that somehow made me realize the power of credit cards and using credit to somehow propel me towards life, towards success. So after I finished grad school, a friend talked about how she traveled to New York for free, and I think to Hawaii as well for free, using credit card points. And that somehow triggered my motivation to actually do a lot of research about travel hacking. And that's it. That's how I learned about credit card points, miles, and just taking advantage, capitalizing on all of these offers.
I love that because I feel like I started getting into credit cards with the balance transfer too. Because when you're super young and big life expenses come up, you have to strategically keep moving things around because you'll have those introductory periods of zero interest. And then it's like, 29%. We got to put that somewhere else now. And I think it is fun to come out of that and get to the point in life where you no longer care what the interest is because you never have a balance. And instead you're just chasing the points and miles and, being able to use it very responsibly and gain something from your everyday spend. So I feel like that's a very relatable way to get started in the credit card game for sure. When did you decide to take this from a hobby that you were doing yourself to, you have a huge Instagram and you're teaching people how to do this. Is that your full-time job or is it just something you do on the side? And where did that transition happen for you?
This is definitely a side hustle. I do have a full-time job. It just so happened that I loved inspiring people to travel. And the more I teach people, the more I reap the rewards. It's just that the more you pay it forward, the more it comes back to you generously. And the more I chat with people in the community, the more I learn about all of these sweet spots and advanced tricks. So I think I just had that seed in me. Like I really love traveling and I wanted to make sure that people around me, friends, followers, would have the same capability as well without breaking the bank.
We very much relate to that, as you might imagine. That is a similar spark and passion that we have and why we started a podcast. Well, we're really excited to dig into American Airlines today for a couple reasons. First of all, we're really upset with Southwest at the moment. And so we feel like
Yes, I know.
we're
I'm sorry
trying
about
to
that.
it's so sad. So we're trying to kind of open our eyes a little more. I would say we're pretty diehard Southwest fans because we have a lot of family listeners, and it's just been such a great program. But we really feel like American Airlines is kind of the second in terms of being easy to understand, easy to use and reap the benefits, even fairly easy to get status without ever actually even flying. So we are really interested in breaking this down since it's the kind of the beginning of status earning season. So we thought you would be the perfect person to come on and talk us through this. So maybe start by telling us what you feel is unique about American Airlines. What sets them apart, and what do you love about them?
A couple years ago, American Airlines actually started revamping and rolling out this new AA Advantage frequent flyer program wherein anyone can actually earn status without even stepping on an AA flight. And the way they determine elite status is through their loyalty points program. So the more loyalty points you accrue, the better chances that you'll be achieving different elite tiers. So I believe there are 4 tiers. The first one is gold. You need 40,000 loyalty points. Now, that sounds a lot, but there are a lot of different ways to accrue and earn those loyalty points easily through various methods. But having AA status, I think, is highly recommended, especially for families, because if, for example, the primary AA member, father or mother, if they have AA status, if they book the flights for the entire family, everyone will get to select the best seats in the house. And if it's an economy, then you have access to main cabin extra or premium economy. If you have higher status, you also have that potential to be upgraded to business class, now, depending on um, the members' elite status. Also, you don't have to pay for baggage, and I know
Mhm.
Southwest will be starting to charge baggage fees. So if you have AA
Yep.
status, even the lowest one, you can actually get those baggage fees waived. The higher status, I mean, the next status after gold is platinum. You need 75,000 loyalty points for that one. What I like about platinum status is that if you're traveling internationally, even in economy, you have access to business class lounges.
Mm.
Now, if
That's
you get to
huge.
the higher tiers, yeah, Platinum Pro or Executive Platinum, you have access to first class lounges even though you're flying in economy. That's amazing. And you could also lounge hop. Like LHR, London Heathrow, is one of my favorite stopover cities because it has like 3 or 4 one world lounges there. And even if I'm flying coach, I can jump into different lounges. I could go to the Qantas first class lounge, Cathay Pacific first class lounge, British Airways first class lounge, um, and the AA first class lounge, even if I'm flying in coach, only because I have either Platinum Pro or Executive Platinum status. And I think that is the biggest perk.
Yeah.
Yes, lounge hopping, that's my love language, that's my new love language now. Free breakfast is also a love language of mine, but lounge
Yes,
hopping
absolutely.
is something
Yeah.
I'm getting very much into, and I love that the possibility exists that you can get that access through, because when you have AA status, you also have status within the One World Alliance, and you can go to
Hmm.
those different lounges without even, like, you
Hmm.
don't ever have to fly business class. I mean, obviously, we all want to, but you don't ever
Hmm.
have to, and you can still get into the fancy lounges. I think that's really cool. One thing that got me, that I was a little confused about, I just got AA gold status, which is, of course, the
Hmm.
meager lowest level, but it is status. It's something. I only started with AA because I've had Southwest companion passes for the last several years. So I just never really had much of a reason to fly AA until recently. So I got back in the fall, I opened a AA personal card, the City AA personal
Mhm.
card. And I mistakenly thought that my
Mhm.
welcome offer would count as loyalty points.
Mm.
So I was all excited when I saw, oh, it's only 40,000 loyalty points to go ahead and get gold status. I'm going to get 70,000 just for signing up for the card. So I'll automatically have one of the higher levels of status. And so I was very bummed to realize, oh no, okay, the welcome offer is miles. That's AA miles, but it is not AA loyalty points. And there's a difference. So talk to
Yes.
us a little bit about that difference. When do you earn which thing? How can you earn the difference between the two? Just tell us a little bit about that.
So generally speaking, when you earn an AA mile, you also earn an AA loyalty point, except for when you're earning sign-up bonuses or welcome offers. For example, if I signed up for a City AA card, which gives 70,000 bonus miles after spending 4,000 in 3 months, I would get 4,000 loyalty points because of that credit card spend. $1 would
Mhm.
be equivalent to 1 mile, which is also equivalent to one loyalty point. But the bonus miles won't convert into loyalty points, unfortunately. But all other ways of earning, it's usually 1 mile and one loyalty point. For example, if you go through the AA shopping portal and you wanted to shop at Nike, and there is a current bonus of if you spend $1, you'll get 10 AA miles. So that would be 10 miles and 10 loyalty points. So there are only two methods that won't automatically convert your miles to loyalty points. Those are the sign up bonuses, welcome offers, and when you deposit money into Basque Bank, those AA
Mhm.
miles don't earn loyalty points. It's just AA miles. But that's a very good question, and it's that was also uh, my understanding. That's why I applied for an AA credit card when they rolled out this new program, thinking that my sign up bonus will be loyalty points and I'll earn the status really easily. But yes, so I'm glad that you pointed that out.
The other place to note that with the AA shopping, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a big way that I was able to earn my gold status was through meal kit
Mm,
offers, just consciously
yes.
using that shopping portal as much as possible to get loyalty points is something that's very similar for those trying to earn the Southwest Companion Pass with the Southwest shopping portal because you'll notice those shopping portals look the same. They must be run by the same company and somehow they look exactly the
Hmm.
same,
Yes.
except for
Hmm.
they offer
Hmm.
different
Yes.
amounts of points and miles. But if you ever trigger a bonus, just like I did just this week, I noticed I had 2
Hmm.
purchases through the AA shopping portal. I didn't even really mean to, but if you spent $200, you got a 500-mile bonus. So I got
Hmm.
500 AA miles, which was awesome, but those bonus miles, just like any bonus points or miles, I should say, that you earn from something else, do not equal loyalty points. So your dollar amounts count for loyalty points and miles,
Hmm.
but any bonuses do not count for both. That took me a
Mm.
while to get to
So
because I think when I was trying to earn my first Southwest Companion Pass, I thought oh, here's 1,000 bonus miles for point or rapid rewards points, I should say, in the shopping portal, but the bonuses don't typically count towards status or companion pass.
you're absolutely right. So those are seasonal spending bonuses. Like they somehow roll out either during a holiday or every quarter. So, for example, if I subscribe to HelloFresh, and that would give me 4,000 AA miles, those 4,000 AA miles will convert into 4,000 loyalty points. However, the spend, so sometimes the AA shopping portal will roll out offers like spend 200, get 1,000 bonus points. Now, those do not convert into loyalty points. Those are just redeemable miles. And redeemable miles are the currency that we use to redeem these AA awards. And awards with AA partners. AA has actually two shopping portals. There is the AA shopping portal and Simply Miles portal. And Simply Miles only works with MasterCard credit cards. And what I've done is I've actually saved all of my MasterCards. It doesn't even have to be AA MasterCards. It could be a Chase Freedom Flex as a MasterCard, right? So I have registered all of my MasterCards on Simply Miles. And sometimes the same merchant is available in both the AA Advantage portal and the Simply Miles portal. So if that's the case, what I do is I activate the offer on Simply Miles, and then I log on to AA Shopping portal and go to that same merchant and make my purchase. But I have to make sure that I'm using the MasterCard that is registered on Simply Miles. And if I do this correctly and successfully, then I'll be able to earn both bonuses from both portals. So they call it stacking. So that's a great stack.
Yeah, we love that stack. And honestly, Simply Miles is not talked about nearly as much as the American Airlines shopping portal. And it is a little bit more confusing and for me harder to remember to check when I'm doing stacks in general. I've gotten really good at checking like Chase offers, not so good at checking Simply Miles. And what I want to remind people of, because I think we talked about this once before, is that it's not always showing everybody the same offers, kind of like your credit card offers. Mary Ellen has had offers in Simply Miles that I have not had, but we've discovered that if you kind of go in and activate a bunch of them at one time, it will refresh and it will give you more. So if there's one that you know is floating around out there, you can try to trigger that offer for yourself, kind of the way we suggest you add all of your Amex offers to your card, and then it'll give you a whole new list. You can do the same thing with Simply Miles to try to find something that you're looking for specifically if it doesn't come up right away. So that's like a little thing that I learned fairly recently that I feel like is pretty helpful.
Yeah, there's also a possibility of triple stacking by leveraging bank offers. So if I'm using, and I've had success with this because hotels.com would sometimes show up on the AA portal and then Simply Miles. And then I would have the same offer on my Citi AA MasterCard or Citi Strata Premier. So I would activate all of those offers and can utilize this triple stack and earn all of these bonus points and credit card statement credits.
When I know I've gotten a triple stack, I just get so giddy. Get excited. I feel like I won. Yes, I did it.
So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Card Pointers, and this is like an app that I use. It has a Google Chrome browser extension wherein it automatically adds all the offers on my Chase cards and Amex cards. I'm not sure if they're doing it with Citi. And the good thing about this app is usually when you add an offer on one Amex card, that same offer disappears from all of your other credit cards. So what Card Pointers does is that it adds the offers on all of the Amex cards and Chase cards that have those offers. So it's actually a great investment. So right now they do have like the spend $200 at Lowe's, you get $50 back. And I know in the past, once I add that to one card, it disappears from my other Amex cards. So Card Pointers actually adds it automatically to all of the Amex cards that have it as an offer.
That's a great investment.
It's worth it because you don't even have to think about adding the offers because the browser extension adds it for you automatically for you and for your P2 or P3 if you use that same browser.
Does the browser extension also remind you about, because if I'm not manually adding the offers, I might forget that they exist. Does it pop up when you go to a website and say, reminder, you have a Chase offer for this, or you have an Amex offer for this? Does it remind you or no?
It just adds offers automatically. So So the downside is that I don't know what offers I have. I would just like get an email like, oh, you redeemed an offer. So I was at Office Depot buying gift cards 2 weeks ago, and I got an email like, oh, you just redeemed, you got $10 cash back or a $10 statement credit because of a Chase offer, which I did not add at all. It was just Card Pointers that added it behind the scenes. So I think it's great especially for busy individuals who have no time to actually look at all the credit cards and figure out which offers are available.
I guess it prevents you from manufacturing your spend because you see a shiny new offer and you're like, oh, let me go to this website. I get money back, and it
Oh,
just
yeah.
makes it happen more naturally for you for what you'd already be spending.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
That's what I was going to say. I think for me, it's a little bit better. I think the temptation is there to spend money. Maybe I wasn't actually going to spend. If I see an offer, I'm like, oh, maybe I do need this. So I like actually the idea that they're all just added in the background. And if I happen to trigger one, I happen to trigger one. But let's rewind a little bit because you said something there about Basque Bank. So I think this came up in one of our very, very old episodes, but I can't totally remember. So walk us through what that is and how you earn with that partnership. And then if there's anything else that you can think of that's kind of an unusual way to earn miles or loyalty points, we would be very interested in hearing that as well.
I think for Basque Bank, you earn 2 AA miles for every dollar saved in the bank. So again, you're earning redeemable miles, not loyalty points. And sometimes they have promotions like deposit 10,000, you earn like 25,000 bonus points. So if you plan of depositing money, if you have extra liquid cash and you want to earn AA points, this is a great opportunity. However, I know that they send 1099s at the end of the year. So just want to be you guys mindful that you will also get taxed for those miles that you accrue through Basque
Boo.
Bank. But that's
I know,
a
that's a
great
bummer.
strategy. I know.
Do they have high
It's
yield
a
savings
bummer. Always a
accounts?
bummer. Also with
Yeah.
referrals. That I don't know. Like I personally don't have Basque Bank. I know a
Okay.
friend who has it, but I think it gains interest and it might be a high yield savings account as well. I could be wrong. Yeah. But currently it is giving 2 AA miles per every dollar saved annually in your bank account. So, with regards to your question about other ways to earn AA miles, I love A Advantage hotels. Um, and I'd like to share that if any of your listeners are traveling to Southeast Asia, that is a perfect opportunity to actually earn a lot of AA miles if you book your hotels through the AA Advantage Hotel portal. Now, if you're a credit card holder, you earn, I think, 5 extra miles from the spend on the portal. And if you have status, I think it's additional 5 extra base
Wow.
miles. So, these things change, but you can get a $75 hotel in Cambodia or Vietnam and you can earn 9,000 AA points. Like I had a stay in Cambodia for one night. It's $75 and I got 9,000 AA miles. So
Wow.
that's another option to
And those are
somehow
loyalty
kind of
points as
check out.
well?
Those are loyalty points. Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Let's
So
go on a trip to
the
Asia and
sweets.
get executive platinum.
Yeah,
Let's work
seriously.
our way to status as we go through Southeast Asia.
The sweet spots are in Southeast Asia and Latin America. There's a lot of really good, inexpensive hotels. And when you log onto the portal, they can actually detect if you're a card holder and if you have status, so they automatically calculate how much miles you'll earn.
Okay, that is very cool. Since you mentioned sweet spots, I do have a couple specific questions. The first is, do you know off the top of your head what the amount of loyalty points required for Platinum Pro and Executive Platinum is? And how
Mhm.
truly attainable do you believe that Executive Platinum status is for like the average, working family that doesn't have a ton of spend every month and is trying to maybe through the shopping portal utilize just their everyday spending? What is the lowest amount of money that you can conceptualize someone might have to spend to earn status? Or what are some sweet spots you've seen in the portal, kind of like with that hotel example, where you can earn a huge chunk of points and maybe like executive platinum status is not as far out of reach as people believe it is?
So my recommendation for families is to just have one family member reach gold status because that would waive the baggage fees and give you access to main cabin extra seats or exit rows, depending on availability. Um, Executive Platinum is very difficult to achieve. It requires 200,000 loyalty points per year. Now, if you have a lot of AA credit cards and you have a lot of spend, um, then you can funnel your expenses through your AA credit cards, and those will earn loyalty points towards status, plus the
Mm.
redeemable miles. Platinum Pro is 125,000. Executive Platinum is 200,000. They also have loyalty rewards, like at each, they have certain thresholds where you earn extra awards. Like I believe if you reach 175,000, you have access to system-wide upgrades.
Mm.
Which means that if you buy a cheap, inexpensive international flight, you can use those certificates to upgrade all of your segments into business class.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's a
nice.
nice prize.
Out of curiosity, can you use the upgrades if you're booking an award flight? So if you book an economy seat with points, would you still be able to use that system-wide upgrade certificate to put yourself into business class, or is it only on cash fares?
That's a great question. It's only on cash fares. Now, the good thing about the AA program is if you have status, if you book an award flight, you have access to upgraded seats on award flights domestically and regionally, Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean. So I
Mm.
know some other programs, they only upgrade people who purchase paid flights. But AA, they just rolled this out like 2 years ago, I believe. They started upgrading folks with status that booked their flights on AA miles. So I think that's a great perk. But unfortunately, you
Yeah,
cannot use a
absolutely.
system-wide upgrade. Yeah. But I travel during off-peak season, like winter, and like I just was able to I purchased a ticket to Dublin, Ireland for $300 from San Francisco during winter. It's cold, like around
What?
February,
That's a
and
steal.
that was a huge steal, and then it's an amazing steal. And I was able to use my system-wide upgrades, and certificates cleared. So I flew business class using AA certificates to Ireland for $350 one way though. It's one way, but it's still a great deal.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're flying Virgin, that's what your taxes and fees cost on an award flight, basically,
Mhm.
these days. So I think that sounds absolutely incredible. I think it is good for our listeners to know, though, because, we have a lot of people trying to do like least cash out of pocket possible, more point
Absolutely. Mhm.
redemption. So maybe gold is the better place to shoot for families who plan on only doing, points redemptions, but want the perks of status, but aren't going to be doing cash flights and maybe aren't, trying to get those business class flights on a regular basis.
Yeah. For folks with no AA status, there is also one strategy that you can utilize if you want to fly business class, and that is called the Mileage Upgrade Awards. So AA has this program called Mileage Upgrade Awards, wherein you buy an inexpensive domestic flight or international flight. For domestic flight, which I always utilize, you can upgrade your cabin to the next cabin by paying 15,000 miles and $75. So, case in point, I love New York City, and I know that AA sells really inexpensive tickets during winter time. So, I was able to purchase a San Francisco to JFK ticket for $174 before Thanksgiving, like around that time. Um, and I was able to upgrade to business class by paying 15,000 miles plus $75. And I know that the
Wow.
business class the aircraft that AA uses on this leg, it's a transcontinental route from San Francisco to New York, is a, a aircraft with lie flat seats on business class. So this is one of my favorite ways to fly business without using a lot of AA awards, and it's less than $200. I just paid an extra 75 plus 15,000 miles. I get upgraded to business class. And you could also do this internationally. I believe they charge a higher number of miles plus cash, but I've capitalized on this strategy when flying transcontinental flights.
I think it's awesome. I wonder how many miles it is if you go from San Francisco to New York, same route, but if you were to just buy the business class seat with miles rather than paying
Mhm.
cash and upgrade, like what's the difference in how many miles you
You're right.
save by doing the upgrade later?
That's a great question. So I was just checking the same flight that I booked, and it's 97. It's 14,000 to fly coach, but 97,000 to fly business. Now I could have easily
Whoa.
just booked the coach. Yep, I could have easily booked the 14,000 coach flight and wait for an upgrade at the time of departure. However, I'm risking that's almost 7 hour flight being in coach. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like I don't mind flying coach, but it's like a 6.5 hour flight. And I know I'm competing with a lot of AA elites, and that's a very popular flight. So I have two choices. I could either just book the economy flight for 14,000. That's still inexpensive. Transcontinental SFO New York. Um, and then wait for a free upgrade, or I could just buy the cash. Essentially, what I did, I paid 174 plus 75 plus 15,000 with confirmed business class upgrade, which I think is worth it.
It's so good. This is a silly question, but I've never heard this, never seen this. Is this something where when you log into American Airlines and buy that cheap cash fare, is it something easy to find? Does something pop up saying, "Would you like to upgrade with this many miles and this much cash?" Like, how does somebody find this? Because we've been doing this podcast for over a year. We talk about all this kind of stuff all the time, and this has never once come up.
Yes. So if you want a lot of or more information, if you want more information, you can just Google mileage upgrade awards, AA flights. But the way to book this is after you book that inexpensive ticket, you call AA and just let them know, oh, I want to upgrade this using my miles and cash or mileage upgrade award. Because you also can't upgrade it with a system-wide upgrade, right? So if you have
Right.
system-wide upgrades, I won't use it for domestic flights. I use it for international. But for this particular case, I would call AA and I would ask them, hey, is it possible for me to upgrade this using a mileage upgrade award? And then they'll tell you if there are slots, if you're waitlisted. Now, if you're waitlisted, you're actually on the top of the queue because mileage upgrade award, since you're paying something extra, you have more priority over people who are using system-wide upgrades. And of course,
Ah.
more priority over people who are just waiting for complimentary upgrades.
Wow.
This is so interesting for me because I have a friend right now. So in a few weeks, I'm going to St. Kitts and I'm flying on AA. And on the way there, there's 3 of us that are currently going on the trip, and 2 of us are flying in business class because we just happened to stumble across a great deal on a business class fare through Alaska for the AA flights. And so we scooped them up. But then our third friend, who was booking at the same time as us, same route, same planes, there were only 2 available spots that we kind of snatched up for the business class. And she's like, wait a minute, y'all are going to be in business class and I'm going to be in coach by myself. And she's like so disappointed that she's going to be in coach. But maybe this is a good idea for her. I wonder if she could call, if it would be worth it to her. She'll have to decide. It's not a super long flight, but maybe she could call and use this strategy to get herself into business class.
Absolutely. And if there are no slots available, she can be on the wait list. As I mentioned, she gets top priority. So if it opens up, if business class seats become available at the time of departure, then she can get upgraded if her name is on the wait list.
Very cool.
So this is a great strategy to get upgraded.
That's awesome. We know that American is not a transfer partner with any of our major banks, which is sad. And we talked about some of the lesser known ways to earn these miles. We have been predicting that Citi might be added as a transfer partner in 2026 because of that ended relationship with Barclays. So do you have thoughts about that? Do you see that coming?
Is there
in the
any
future?
hope? Give us
Right.
hope.
I think it is a possibility. There was like a period of 3-4 months during the pandemic, wherein Citi actually allowed their points to be transferred to AA.
Oh, I didn't know
It's
that.
just a limited time offer. Yes, so they definitely have the ability to support those transfers. So I'm hoping that this will come to fruition, but it has happened before and it can happen again in the future. Citi has a lot of amazing transfer partners, but adding AA there would really propel the Citi Thank You Points program up
Oh,
to
yeah,
like
massive
one of my
upgrade.
favorites. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
We know that American Airlines is a member of the One World Alliance. We particularly love, using Alaska miles to book American Airlines. But which One World Airlines have you found to be particularly helpful or good? And can you actually list the partners out for our listeners so that they know, who all goes together in terms of where you can be booking or using your status?
So Alaska and American are, as you mentioned, part of both members of the One World Alliance. And the good thing about Alaska, they sometimes show AA flights with cheaper redemptions. So
Hmm.
I just booked a San Francisco to Phoenix using Alaska miles for 4,500, but the flight is going to be on AA. Now AA is selling the same flights for 12,000 miles. So
Wow.
Alaska is a great program to search for AA flights because most of the time they sell those AA flights at a cheaper rates. So it's
Hmm.
always good to compare both. So as far as your question with regards to One World members, there are several. My favorites are, of course, Alaska, American, British, Cathay Pacific, uh, Iberia, Japan Airlines, Finnair, Fiji Airways, Qantas, Qatar, Royal Jordanian, Sri Lankan Airlines. So essentially, if you have AA miles and you wanted to fly to a destination that is currently not being served by AA planes, you don't have to worry because AA, when you're searching on the AA website or the AA app, flights to other destinations served by these One World alliances would also show up as available to book. Um, for example, I believe I used my AA miles to fly between Mumbai and Colombo, Sri Lanka, several years ago, since Air, Sri Lankan Airlines is a One World Alliance member. I was able to use my AA points to book and fly on this airline. Another concrete example, one of my favorites, is flying on Qatar Airways, especially Qatar Q Suites. Usually, it's more expensive to book Qatar Q Suites using Qatar Airways. I know their flights to Africa cost 90,000 or 120,000 miles, but with AA, if you're lucky, you only have to shell out 75,000 AA miles to fly from the US to Africa on Q Suite. So there are those sweet spots. It offers a lot of flexibility and access to all of these carriers. So
Hmm.
whether your destination is international or domestic, you don't have to worry. If you have AA miles, you can fly there because of these One World carriers.
Talk to us a little bit about your AA status, what that means. And we alluded to it earlier with lounge access, but what does that transfer to within the One World Alliance? So I have gold status with AA. What would I have in the One World Alliance? What are their status tiers?
So that's a great question. If you have AA Gold, you do have an equivalent One World Ruby status. If you have Platinum, you do have One World Sapphire status. If you have AA Platinum Pro or AA Executive Platinum, then you'll have One World Emerald status. Now, the way it works is that when you are booking, if it's a paid reservation, you type in the frequent flyer program where you received your One World status, in this case, AA. So if I'm flying British paid flight, I type in my AA frequent flyer program when making that reservation. So I get my One World Emerald or Sapphire or Ruby privileges. Now, if it's an award flight, I think there might be some strategies, but I haven't tried it personally. But I booked that AA flight using Alaska Miles. Since I have AA status, there's a way for me to be added on the upgrade list, even though I use my Alaska Miles. I hope that makes sense. But if I'm flying on Alaska, I won't be able to use my One World status.
Do any of the Alliance members, so I know that sometimes, like the example you mentioned earlier to, I believe it was Phoenix, you had it was cheaper to book, even though the flight is on AA, it was cheaper to buy it with points through Alaska than it was through AA directly. Do any of the other One World partnerships have a kind of a sweet spot like that where you can book domestic AA flights here in the United States, but book it through one of those other carriers and sometimes get a better deal than booking through AA directly?
So previously, British Airways offered that perk because it was, British Airways Avios is distance based, but they recently devalued the program, I think last year or 2 years ago. So it's no longer a great deal. You could fly to Hawaii for 12,500 from the West Coast to Hawaii for 12,500 or 10,000
Oh, wow.
British Avios on AA. Yes. So right now, Alaska offers that perk.
Okay.
So there was like a San Francisco to Kauai on Alaska. It's 10,000 miles. So it's a great program too. Yeah, something for the future.
Yes. I mean, we absolutely love that. And just as a reminder for our listeners, since we haven't talked about this in a while, if you have American Express, you can still take advantage of Alaska's great redemptions by moving over your American Express points to Hawaiian Airlines and then transferring from Hawaiian to Alaska. We do like that option of having another currency that you can use to book some of these AA flights through Alaska. Because you might not have Alaska miles just sitting around. So that's how you can get some over there.
That's actually a very good point on how you can use Amex membership reward points to fly on AA by transferring Amex membership rewards to Hawaiian and then transferring Hawaiian to Alaska. Hopefully there's no expiration date to these transfer abilities because I've heard that Amex will be terminating its relationship with Hawaiian, but I could be wrong.
Oh, no.
That's a great strategy.
We'll be so sad. We've loved that partnership, but we
I
have
know.
kind of
Yeah.
been fearful that it is
Too
limited
good to
time
be
only.
true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there anything else particularly valuable to know about American Airlines, or if somebody is considering really getting into the AA game? I know for me, I've been going deep into AA in the last 6 months or so because of some trips that I want to take next year. And I know that AA miles, to me, they're just so valuable and I protect them. I don't want to use them unless I have to because they're harder to earn than the other miles. I don't have all of those credit cards that I can just earn. There's no transferable way to just easily earn more AA points right now. So I really protect and value my AA miles. Is there anything else that you feel like people need to know about the AA program or that would be particularly helpful?
Sure. So AA miles do expire, and they expire after 24 months of inactivity. Thankfully, the AA portal, AA dining, AA shopping can reset the expiration date of those AA miles. I have met so many people who have had their AA miles expire because they just didn't know that it expires. Now, if you hold an AA credit card, you don't even have to worry about expiration because just by the virtue of owning or having a credit card waives that expiration date for your AA miles. So just want to highlight that. Another somewhat advanced strategy is that when flying long haul, sometimes we need to reposition to another airport or another city because that's where the available flights are. So, case in point, I found a flight to Doha on AA metal, on an AA flight that departs from Philadelphia. So AA actually flies to Doha from Philadelphia. So I was able to book that Philadelphia to Doha flight for 70,000 miles. Then, after I secured that long haul flight, AA gives us that ability to add segments either before or after. So I've done both. So in this case, I added a San Francisco to Philadelphia leg as long as a Saver Award is available. AA, just call AA and tell them, oh, I need a Saver Award between San Francisco to Philadelphia, and I need to connect that to my international long haul flight. So AA, if the Saver Award is available, will add that segment for free because to fly from US to the Middle East, it's 70,000. I've also done Europe to Central Asia. One of my favorite sweet spots with AA miles is Etihad First Apartments. So Etihad First Apartments have multiple flights from London, so it's easier to redeem those miles from London. So first, I secured that particular flight, London to Abu Dhabi, for 62,500 AA miles on Etihad First Class, and then or First Apartments. And then I called AA and I added a segment. In this case, I had to fly to Kazakhstan, so I added a segment to Almaty, Kazakhstan, without adding extra miles because the award chart for AA is 62,500 to the Middle East and Central Asia. So as long as Saver Award is available on that additional segment, then you don't have to pay extra. Just want to share that. It's a bit advanced, but it requires calling.
That's
It's a
pretty
great part.
massive.
Never heard this ever. I have learned so much this episode. And this is our third time trying to do an American Airlines episode, and we have learned new things. So that means that you win. You are our official American Airlines expert on this podcast now.
That is
Thank you.
awesome.
I love AA.
I do too. And that is huge for me because I'm trying to go to Asia next year. That's what I'm really stockpiling all these AA miles for. Want to take the whole family. And I know that there are some places, Chicago, some cities that have better more valuable redemptions than others, especially if I try to get us in business class, which I'm debating. But I didn't realize that I could, for free, add on. Like we talk about stopovers places, fly somewhere, maybe a free stopover. But I didn't know that on the front end, I could say, oh, call them and say, I need to get to Chicago. Can you just throw that in for free if I find if I have already booked the flight, the long haul international? That is awesome.
So my strategy is to always look for that long haul flight because that's very, very difficult to find, very challenging because I could always reposition. And then after I secure that long haul flight, I call AA and ask if there are any Saver Award redemptions between my home airport, which is San Francisco or San Jose, to my positioning airport. And most of the time I've been very fortunate. So
Incredible.
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. That is, I think my brain just exploded.
And I have one more related one,
Yes.
if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Keep it coming, Kris.
So American Airlines charges 70,000 AA miles to fly to the Middle East and India. So you could fly Q suites to the Middle East or AA flights or British. So their award chart is static at this point. So they charge 70,000 business class from USA to the Middle East and Central Asia. Now, if you want to fly to Africa, Cape Town, Johannesburg, or anywhere in Africa, you just add 5,000 AA miles and you could extend your trip to Africa. So case in point, I booked a San Francisco to Doha on Q Suites, 70,000, but my final destination was Cape Town. And I called and I said, is there availability? Is there Saver Award availability? So I just added 5,000 AA miles to fly from US all the way to Africa on business class. So it's similar to the strategy we talked about earlier, but this is just taking advantage of their very generous award chart, which hopefully stays like this for many years to come.
I mean, this is just so incredible. I think a lot of times we avoid phone calls, but this does show you the power of not just trying to do everything through the app. Sometimes you got to call to make the magic happen, and it's okay. I know a lot of people, me included, do not love to be on hold or on phone calls with customer service, although I have had great experiences with American Airlines customer service in general. So this is really exciting. There's some great stuff here. Let's really quickly, before we let you go, why don't you tell us where points and miles are taking you in the next year, and maybe the last credit card you opened or what credit card you plan on opening next?
Since our topic is AA miles, I was able to actually snag a flight to Manila, where I'm originally from, in the Philippines. It was 70,000 AA miles from San Francisco via Tokyo on Japan Airlines, and then Tokyo to Manila on Japan Airlines as well for 70,000 AA miles on business class. So I was able to book that
Wow.
both ways, and I think that's one of the sweet spots of AA. So I'm looking forward to doing that in the summer. As far as credit cards, oh my gosh, I feel like I have a lot already. I really wanted to apply for the Chase World of Hyatt business credit card, but I think I've pretty much maxed out with Chase.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I wanted a business card is because I also would like to take advantage of, if you spend 10,000, you get 5 elite points just to help me with globalist status. But I have all the Chase Inc. cashes, and probably Chase is just like very challenging to get approved for right now if you have a lot of business cards already with them. But that's something that it's on my bucket list for quite some time. I have the personal card though, but the business card will be good.
Yes, they are being a little stringent these days. It seems like some stuff is shifting with approvals, especially where business cards
Yes.
are concerned. So that's really sad, but we'll
Yeah.
put good vibes out there for you that you'll be able to get through with that Hyatt business card, because that's awesome, especially if you're working for globalists.
Kris, thank you so much. If people want to find you online to keep seeing your adventures, you post a lot of the great business class and first class flight deals that you find that you actually go on. Where can they find you on Instagram? And then maybe share with us another creator that you really enjoy learning from.
So I am on Instagram at _frugal_tourist. I also have a Facebook group, Travel Miles and Points Facebook group. If you are interested in joining a community of like-minded individuals who are into earning miles and points and just maximizing the value of our points, feel free to join us there. As far as another creator, since I mentioned that 70,000 AA redemption from San Francisco to Manila, I actually learned about that deal through a creator friend. Her IG name is Points Lodi, POINTSLODI. Her name is Marianne. She posted about this deal. I booked it, and I was so thrilled to be able to snag this very difficult award. And I can't thank her enough. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. She posts a lot and on her stories, like advanced tricks. So it's a great creator to follow.
Oh, this is
Awesome. I actually
exciting.
just discovered her recently and have been following her. So I love that you shouted her out.
Yes,
Great.
and I have not heard of her, and I always love hearing of new people, and that's my favorite kind of shout out that we get is people that I haven't heard of before, so I can add to the many amazing creators that we're following over there. So we're going to link your Instagram, your Facebook group in the show notes, and we will link her as well, so everybody can easily follow all of those things. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and insight today. This has been such an awesome episode.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the invitation and amazing chatting with you guys.
You as well.
Bye, everybody.
If you enjoyed this show today, please consider writing us a review or clicking 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please subscribe and follow along so that you never miss an episode.
You can follow the podcast on Instagram or YouTube at Wonderland on Points Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at familytravel4thewin with the number 4.
And you can find me on Instagram at points2wonderland.
If you're thinking about getting a new travel rewards credit card, consider using the links in our show notes. Using our links helps to support us and keep our podcast going, so we can provide you with all the latest tips and tricks when it comes to traveling on points.
And if you aren't sure which card is right for you, shoot us an email at wonderlandonpoints@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you here next time.